vehicles in upright position.
Make me fly. Watch me kiss the sky. When you move around me, it is all it be. With you by my side, there's no way I can lose. See me fly.
Goddamn, and my memory served me. Energy from everything kinetically surging. Better never get another chance to be this young. Woke up to see this sun. New days, I'ma get me one. Been a long road coming, thinking God blessed every run. All a million little pieces we become. Any bucket list, I'ma leave it done. All I need's a good cup of coffee, good plump in the concrete. Hooked up in Brooklyn, took it to Canal Street. Pump every watch in his jacket, just so maybe I remember this time, everything that happened. Then I'm zipping in my friends a mask where the legal grass is. Just give me the sativa stash. It's been down, now it seems it's backwards. Got a beat from in, now we rolling down the street, just laughing so fly.
Make me fly. Watch me kiss the sky. When you move around me, it is all it be. With you by my side, there's no way I can lose. See me fly. When you move around me, it is all it be. With you by my side, there's no way I can lose. See me fly.
When I'm with you, my dear, I'm far away from here. Must be the magic. Must be the magic. I found you.
Make me fly.
That's right.
Watch me kiss the sky. When you move around me, it is all it be. With you by my side, there's no way I can lose. See me fly.
Oh shit, mountain smooth, cause you reach new altitudes. Hanging on every word like a mountain view. When we bounce the cruise, fuck them all, I can count on you. Like Bojack and Dyer, whole snap and try it. Pep pops in the eye, man. Times get strange and the people keep lying. The truth is the truth, any state I reside in. I am.
Make me fly. Watch me kiss the sky. When you move around me, it is all it be. With you by my side, there's no way I can lose. See me fly.
Ahora directamente desde West Hartford, Chuck Wise, el único, el más bravo, el duro, el que nunca nadie lo puede poner abajo porque él siempre tiene toda la lírica para todo el pueblo de West Hartford, para que no sepa, papá.
Welcome to the IDP Lounge. How's it going, fellas?
Hey.
Hey.
So,
What's up?
what's going on? It's our first episode, debut episode, and we are happy to be here on a Friday night. This is I've kind of thought of it as the IDP show about nothing, because we're just going to come with a blank slate and kind of just come here to chat and have a good time. And Darrell's going to throw back plenty of cold ones, I'm sure.
Tall boys.
Absolutely.
So,
Way ahead of you.
So this is our first episode, so nobody's listened before or watched for that matter. I'm going to get used to this watching thing. We did the draft night thing, and now we're going to do a regular Friday night thing. Our regular co-hosts will be me and Darrell. Yeah, they can see us. And then we will have a third rotating chair with Kyle down there in the bottom right.
Hey.
Bellefeuil.
That's
I got it right this time.
Boom.
Boom.
What's up, Kyle? You got it.
Boom.
What's up, guys?
Bellefeuil.
Yes,
Get it
sir.
right.
And for our debut episode, we have brought on a few IDP minds here to join us. Down in the bottom left, we have Mike Woellert. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing all right. So if this is the IDP show about nothing, does that make you Larry David?
I guess so.
Nice. Nice.
And then we have Joey the Tooth in between me and Hollywood here.
What's
Joey?
up, guys? What's going on? Thanks for having me.
What's up, Joey?
And we have the FF Spaceman.
Hey, Mom, you hear that? I'm an IDP mind. So, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll give you guys a few seconds to plug your stuff, where they can find you. We got a few watchers here. A lot of them friends that we know. Those people in the chat, be sure to post your questions. We'll bring them up here. I can click some buttons and they'll show up on the screen, and it'll be really cool. And then we'll talk about them. But until we get some questions going around, let's start with Mike. Mike, where can they find you on Twitter? What are you up to? I know you have quite a I like to call it the smooth jazz IDP show.
Yes.
That's what it sounds like to me.
That's going to stick, by the way. Smooth jazz is sticking.
So you can find me on Twitter at Mike_Woellert at 4for4.com. And yeah, if the pod's been up, boy, I think a little over a month and a half. So the mic'd up podcast, and yeah, that's been the consensus, the smooth jazz. And I try not to be too aggressive. I'm trying to keep it funky.
You're doing a great job, man.
We got some people saying hi, some familiar faces. It's weird because it says Facebook user, but so if you're a Facebook user, you might want to say who you are, because saying hey, we don't know who you are because it's coming up Facebook user. But
It
anyway,
says that Detroit Beastie.
well, yes, that does. But the other one here, it says hey guys, and we don't know who's saying hi. So
Man,
let us
we'll
know
say
who's
hi
saying
back.
hi.
We don't care.
Yeah, we will.
We don't have to know who it is. Hey.
We don't discriminate.
And FF Spaceman, why don't you share where they can find you other than FF Spaceman and what you're up to?
Yeah, so you can find me at Dynasty Football Factory. I write for Dynasty and I do their Superflex rankings, but I also am a co-host of the Tale of Two Rivals with Todd Foster and Sean Kennedy. So yeah, that's what I'm up to. And I my specialty, I like to think, is being a nerd and pretending that matters as far as football is concerned. But I love talking IDP, and I'm just pumped to be on with you guys for the inaugural show.
Yes. And you helped us get on the 3:30 a.m. slot of the Podathon, so we are grateful for that. So.
You guys brought the energy late night. I liked it.
Yeah, I had to pick Darrell up a little bit. He was dragging.
Yeah, I was dragging.
He was dragging for about 2 days after that, too.
Oh, man.
Spent.
And
that 3:30 spot's a primo spot, by the way.
It is.
That's
In
tough,
Australia, it's a great spot.
I don't know how you guys did it. I don't know how you can do it.
I took a nap, and I went to bed, and I just woke up really early, which is actually not too much earlier than my wife wakes up. She woke up at like 3 for work, so I don't know how she does that every day. But
I tried. I
Anyway.
really did. I was like, I'm going to bed. I'm taking a nap. Nope. I'm wide awake.
Dale just
Yeah,
stayed up and hammered down tall boys till it was time to go.
that's what I was expecting, and I'm like, please don't show up completely hammered to this. Like,
Actually, I wasn't. I was like, man.
you were good.
He was just half in the
You
bag.
should have done like a Monster beforehand or something, or some coffee. But
I was done. Then I had to go to work, and I was up like, it was crazy.
And last but not least, our third guest here, Joey the Tooth IDP. Other than at Joey the Tooth IDP, where can they find you?
You can find me at idpguys.org. Also write for dynastyfootballdigest.com. I believe most of us here, actually. Dan, Hollywood, and Kyle, I think you were all involved in the draft magazines that we put out. You can find us all on that.
Yep.
And soon, probably within the next week or two, I'll be dropping my own podcast called the IDP Update.
Yes.
So keep your ears peeled for that. That'll be coming out soon.
Looking forward to it, man.
So Mike and Joey
Yeah,
can
man.
share notes on the one-man show, I think, right? Because it's a one-man show, so you guys can compare notes.
Yeah, it kind of makes it easier for me because I have a 17-week-old baby, so schedule is kind of her thing. So I just go by her schedule. So
That's true. Once you have a child, they rule your household, basically.
yes, the child has all the time. So I figure when I have time, I can record a show.
All righty. And Kyle, since this is our debut episode, most of the people listening know me and Darrell pretty well. Kyle, where can they find you? And you will be our rotating chair here.
Right on. Yeah, you can find my stuff over at idpguys.org. Just kind of hitting some off-season stuff, some rookies, some veterans, just kind of writing some things that pop in my mind and getting ready for hopefully a season coming up.
I've been using that GIF. Don't you put that evil in me, Ricky
my
Bobby.
bad.
It's happening. The season's going to happen.
For sure, man.
Negativity here. I don't have room in my life for that kind of negativity.
Yep.
Our positivity will make it happen.
Yeah.
I feel like I haven't prepared for a season as much as I have this season and done so many startups that if it doesn't happen, I'm going to be crushed.
Right.
Well, anybody out there listening that's in one of my eliminators, if the season doesn't happen, we'll just redraft the teams next year. I don't know. I don't know what the plan is. I know some leagues are putting contingency plans in for, what if the season doesn't happen? And I'm just don't even start thinking that way. I mean, they're getting ready to start the NBA season. They're getting ready to start baseball. Somebody's dog's upset.
Sorry about that.
That's all right.
That's your dog telling you that don't talk about the NFL not starting.
That's right. That dog is.
That's all on me. That's all on me.
Yes, the NHL is coming back too. So not just video games.
I'm going to go take care of that real quick.
Oh, all right.
Un momento.
And we have
I had to be Joey.
we have our first question from Mac Attack 5005. Who is your sleeper defensive end for this year? I'm weak at this position. So one that's actually available that me and Darrell could draft is Fedi Ogabindu something. He plays for Minnesota. His first name's Fedi. I can get that.
Affectionately known as just a Feedy. That's all you need.
Feedy, yeah, there you go. So look for that. He had 7 sacks last year, and I don't know, played sparingly. Was an interior lineman for the most part, and he still managed 7 sacks, and surprisingly wasn't really on my radar at all last year. I guess he spread them out, so he never really had any boom weeks when we went over our 12s on IDP Nation or anything like that. So that'd be my guy. Who wants to go next? I know I should have probably let the guests go first, but
We talking DN sleepers?
yeah, DN sleeper. So I figured I'd kill some time to give you guys some chance to think about an answer.
Who'd you just hit? I missed it. Sorry.
Fedi from Minnesota. Ogabinimbu something. I don't know.
I'm going to Kimoko Toure from Indy.
Nice.
You still got Justin Houston there, but he's aging a little bit, but he's still showing he's got plenty off the edge. They just added Buckner to add pressure up the middle.
No more Sheard. No more my
Sheard. Right.
My Valentine Jabal Sheard.
Right. So I mean it's Toure Banagnu and Muhammad are all going to fight for that last DN spot. So I think it's going to be Toure, though. He played great in limited time last year before he eventually got injured too much. But
yeah, he'll play both. He'll play both in and out. I have a feeling.
Yeah. So Toure's my guy.
Who's next?
I'll go. I'll go. I like, not to give away too much, but I like Marcus Davenport from the Saints, playing opposite Cameron Jordan. So, I mean, last season, I know he finished just right around 6 or 7 sacks, but his pressure rate was insane. It was right around just over 14%. So he was constantly getting, just constantly getting to the quarterback. So I like Marcus Davenport. I have no problem with him as even a second defensive end.
Yeah, I watched his in our rookie guide that me and Darrell and some other people at DFF were involved in a few years back. He was one guy I watched, and I loved him. I mean, he was at Texas San Antonio, so playing against a little lower competition, but you could see he has the traits. It's just bringing that to that next level. It doesn't hurt that he's playing against across from Cameron Jordan too. So
yeah, I think he had 10 hits. He had over 30 hurries. So even if he converts some of those other hits into sacks, I mean, you're looking at 8 or 9. You're looking at 8 or 9 sacks, and you're probably looking to draft. You're practically getting him for free if you're in a redraft league, or if he's on your waiver wire. You're getting a potential 10 sack guy for essentially nothing.
Yeah.
Got some flattering comments here. And Spaceman, why don't we go to you? Your fellow banter man here, chiming in here.
Yeah, Todd's actually the IDP guy of the crew, but so I'm not sure if he's jealous at all. But he probably is. But anyway, mine would be. I actually asked you guys this question on the Podathon. It was Chase Winovich for the Patriots. I know historically people don't like how the Patriots employ and rotate their defensive players and stuff, but Chase Winovich seems to be around a lot of pressures on the QB. And I think his 3rd round draft capital might have some people off him a little bit, but I think with how that defense is changing going into this year, he's a guy to keep your eye on, and he's relatively cheap as far as IDP is concerned.
For sure.
Yep. Kyle, who you got?
I like Toure was one of the guys I was thinking. I've been grabbing him a lot lately in drafts, but I like D Ford from San Francisco. He seems to be slipping a little bit, and I think they paid him pretty well, and I think he's going to get some more snaps this year. And I think his numbers are going to go up, and he could have a nice solid year.
I love D Ford, man. If you look at the entire D line last year, I mean, granted, he didn't play much due to injury and whatnot,
Right.
but if you actually look at on a per snap basis, he had the best sack rate of anybody on that defensive line.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
And even on a per snap rate, not only that, looking at fantasy points, he was right in the mid 0.2s, and I mean that's huge for fantasy if you're putting up a quarter of a point per snap,
right?
And if he's even 85 to 90% healthy.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
No, I agree. Yeah. So if he can just get close to fully healthy, and he can really turn them snaps into points, I think.
Yep.
All right, Hollywood, how about you? Who do you have?
Actually, Smooth Jazz down there stole the guy that I was going to talk about.
I'm a smooth criminal, man.
So I'm going to change course a little bit, and I'm going to go with Derek Barnett, defensive end for the Philadelphia Eagles. Had some injuries a little. Why not? I mean, hey. But set career highs in quarterback hits, pressures, sacks. Had some injury issues the year before. Seemed to get back on track last year. So with another healthy season, I fully expect him to step up his game, especially with that front line they got with Fletcher and Brandon Graham and all those guys up front. Malik Jackson, he's really Javon Hargrave. That's going to make a big difference too. They get Jackson back, who was hurt last year. So I think with a healthy front line and having him over there opposite of Brandon Graham, those two guys are going to eat. But expect a big year from Barnett this year.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, they're going to have to eat because the linebackers are awful.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But I think they will. In that
funny.
one.
I scared
In that
everybody
line
because
nine.
we said if there was nothing to talk about, we talk about Eagles linebackers for 2 hours. So
And the Rams, right? Eagles, Rams.
Don't we want to keep
linebacker.
the audience and not drive them away?
Right.
But talking about the Eagles linebackers, everybody's gonna be like, "Who?"
Well, I get asked about TJ Edwards, Nate Jerry, and Micah Kaiser and Kenny Young about 15 times a week. So I figure it was probably going to come up at some point.
I don't
like
know
Kaiser,
if you've heard. I don't know if you guys heard my NFC West pod and what I compared the Rams linebackers to.
I didn't check that one out yet. I listened to the AFC East this morning, but
yeah.
I don't know. Do you spoiler alert, or do you want to wait for your? Do you want to just wait?
No, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So, anybody, Silicon Valley fans?
Yes.
The episode where they had the focus group about the Hooli phone and Nucleus on the Hooli phone, where everybody basically said the phone is stupid, it's horrible, it doesn't work. And Belson was like, all right, so how bad is this? Is it Microsoft Zune bad? No. It's not Apple iPhone. It's not iPhone 4 bad. No. It's Apple Maps bad. And that's pretty much the Rams linebacker.
Apple Maps,
Man.
yes. I deleted Apple Maps. It keeps asking me if I want to reinstall it, and I say no.
Is it that bad, huh?
That's
I'm an
pretty-
Android guy, so
Yeah, I'm an Android guy too, so I have no idea.
Switching gears, what, if any, adjustments do you make to your values and leagues that require you to start the less valued spots? We start all positions. Well, they go into depth. They go inline and outside linebacker as well.
Nice. I like it.
And safety. Would someone like Kinlaw move way up? I think that's, I guess, if you bump up D tackle. We talked about this. Me and Darrell did, or Darrell and I should say. Grammar police stepping in here on the FF SmackDown show a little bit about how to make those positions valuable, bumping up like quarterback hits for D tackles. Obviously, myfantasyleague.com, you can customize each position. Some platforms you can't customize by position, so it depends on where you're playing. If you're playing on My Fantasy League, you can go in and make D tackles, scoring tackles higher, sacks higher, QB hits higher. I mean, don't go crazy with it, but you can bump them up, half a point. You can give them credit for tackles for loss. As far as corners, any suggestions? I'll let the other folks here share their opinions.
I like playing with pass deflections, going for either 3 or 4. That really makes corners very very relevant. But even if you jack up their solos a little bit, because corners don't really get too many tackles, that makes them a little more relevant as well.
Yeah, I agree. Same thing with defensive tackles, bringing their tackles up a little bit because they don't generally get as many. That usually boosts their value too. I got a few leagues like that. So
anything that makes give more value to more positions, I'm all for. So whatever you want to do, let's do it. Let's have some fun. Let's make this more interesting. Let's not make this, a standard, just close your eyes and just hit draft kind of thing.
Right. And if anybody has any cornerback questions, make sure they ask Dan.
Yes, absolutely. I second this.
I'll tell you, screen
at Seahawks Dan. You can find him on Twitter.
Yep, the cornerback wizard himself.
Yes. I just look at who's going to get beat like a rented mule every week and try to pick them up.
Well, that pulls in Malcolm Butler.
Oh, poor guy.
Anyway, I think we got that covered as far as just bump up the stats that are specific to those positions, like passes defended, and for D tackles, the stuff in the backfield, sacks and stuff like that. Give sack yardage maybe. This guy, I know Darrell loves talking about this guy. Do you think Reuben Foster has a chance to start next to Thomas Davis Sr. this season?
Dear God.
You guys can take this one here. I have my opinions, but you guys can go ahead. Kyle, you haven't chimed in a while. What do you think?
Have we heard much on Foster's health? Because I know that knee injury was pretty bad. And,
gruesome.
He's been out for over a year. I mean, maybe not over a year, but by the time the season comes around, it'll be a full year, which our buddy Ethan, who I'm not sure if he's listening or not, will tell you an ACL is about 12 months, which I believe was an ACL.
Didn't it have nerve damage too, though? Like, wasn't he having issues with feeling in his leg still afterwards?
I read the same thing, Joey. That was I haven't read about it in a while, but I had read the same thing, and they weren't sure when the full recovery was going to happen and what his outlook was. I always liked his talent. He just, he's not always out there.
I I would be surprised if he made the roster. Honestly, I think they're high on Hulk or Cole Holcomb. I'd imagine. I mean, you got Davis and Bostic is but I think you'd have to like Holcomb. To go opposite Davis. I think it's almost, at least I think it's almost a foregone conclusion that Davis is going to get the majority of snaps just because of the Ron Rivera factor, and that's really all the analysis I really have.
He trusts him. He's a vet.
Yeah, the rest of the group is meh, so they need that. They're going to need that leadership on the field. But Holcomb played well. I think he played well enough on the field last season to earn more snaps. And the injury was not good for Foster.
No.
And I don't even know why the Redskins picked him up, because I think if you have to issue a press release for a player that you've picked up that has a troubled past, that's probably not
right. And even if you look back to when Foster was playing with the 49ers, his last year there before all of his issues, rookie Fred Warner came in those first few games. He was actually outperforming Reuben Foster. So, I mean, granted, look what Fred Warner has become. So I'm not knocking Fred Warner by any means. I love the guy. But Foster was already kind of showing as like he's not – I don't think he's what everybody thought he was going to be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of looking back on the news here, he did suffer nerve damage in an ACL, MCL, and LCL tears, and they declined his fifth-year option. So I don't – they may keep him this year. He's definitely talented, don't get me wrong, but with all his baggage, I don't think they'll bring him back next year. He may sign as a backup somewhere, but other than that, I'm not chasing him anywhere.
Yeah, his tape.
I mean, a tear like that has sapped all of his movement, I'd imagine. No, I mean, his thing was.
I would think so. Yeah,
speed, lateral movement. I think a lot of I don't know. Plus, who knows what it's going on mentally? I mean, that's just. I'd have to imagine that's got to mess with your head too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It kind of says here that he regained feeling in his foot after serving nerve damage from the ACL, MCL, and LCL tears. So if you can't feel your foot, that's a problem. He
could touch it. He just couldn't feel it.
I hope right.
All right. Well, switching gears, it doesn't sound like Reuben Foster's very thing, but I believe a lot of you, if not all of you, are part of the Autism Speaks Invitational. Who's going to take it down? I think everybody's going to say myself.
Right there.
No, I'm gonna say D Win. I'm not gonna say myself. I'm gonna say D Win.
So
Hollywood.
A little bit of update on that we want to bring up.
I'm going to give the politically correct answer and say the real winner is Autism Speaks.
It is. And getting
well done, Mike.
No, nice, smooth jazz, nice.
Did we end up reaching the goal?
That's what I'm trying to get to. We are over $1,000, and
wow.
There's still, according to my calculations, there's 96 people that were invited, and there's only about 45-ish, 6-ish people that have donated. So that means there's still room for growth there.
Oh, nice.
So hopefully those people that got the invites will donate if you haven't done so already. Even if it's $5, $1, whatever you can.
Great cause, do. And I know it's something that Dan holds near and dear to his heart.
Yeah.
Very proud to be a part of it. Glad everybody signed up. So,
yep. And speaking of raising money, eliminators. If you want to whoop Darrell's behind, there's about 12 spots left in the IDP only eliminator. It's 30 rounds, just IDP. No offense allowed. We have kicked the offensive guys to the curb, and they are not going to participate in that eliminator. So if you want to take on Darrell, I'll probably get in that one just to beat him.
You were telling me we had some open spots, and the only thing I can figure is they're scared to play me. That's what it is. Boy. They're scared.
So you're not scared. If you need the sign up, it's tagged on my pinned to my Twitter. It's at SeahawksDan8. It's my pinned tweet on my profile. So if you want to sign up, it's there. I've been tweeting about it the last few days. We actually have pushed with the help of some people. Sal helped retweet it along with John Bosch and some others in the community to help retweet and bring some attention. and get those signed up. We actually only need 3 in the 1 quarterback offense only. That's with Dynasty Madman. We need 3 more for Jordan Rains at 50 Shades Drunk, his IDP 123 1 quarterback league. Dynasty Trip, who's in the chat, I believe, his only needs 2. That's a super flex with IDP 123. And Dingus in the chat, his 1 QB deep roster, 60 round with IDP draft needs about 9. So Dingus needs some love. Hollywood needs some love, and the other ones should fill up probably over the weekend. So thanks to those that signed up. I know some people in the chat have signed up. I know some people here have signed up, and I'd recommend to this listener, who our next question comes from, doing my first IDP league this year. Any advice? My piece of advice is listen to IDP Nation. Listen to the Mic'd Up with Mike Woellert. Listen to the Joey the Two podcast. Listen to the Tale of Two. I'm missing the
Two Rivals.
Two Rivals. Yeah,
we don't do much IDP stuff. I was a little slow because I was like, we don't talk any IDP. But
I'm trying to plug here so subtly. But anyway, those would be my first piece of advice is take in as much as you can. I know I don't study offense nearly as much as I study defense. So I rely on other podcasts and other people that study the stats and get into the nuances of everything. Like I listen to Mike Clay's quarterback, wide receiver projections every week during the season to hear, wide receiver matchups and stuff. So listening to people that study this stuff all the time is a good advice, trying to find people that you think like and align yourself with them. I listen to a lot of different dynasty podcasts and stuff, and I don't agree with everything they're saying, but getting the perspectives, knowing what your league mates are thinking is important too. Because I think somebody joked around and said, listen to the ballers, because that's what everybody listens to. And that's so you can know what they're all thinking and who they're going to go after in the waiver wire, and you can kind of pivot from there. Any other advice? We'll just kind of go around here. Whoever wants to go next.
I'll go. You know what? Pay it. And this seems really basic, but make sure you're paying attention to the scoring. Look at your scoring settings.
Absolutely.
That's probably the main thing. If sacks are rewarded heavily, then the scoring will lead you to where. The scoring will lead you to your roster construction, essentially, as to what positions you're going to want to target. So if you're rewarding, say, 2 points per sack and, say, 2 points per tackle, then that's going to devalue guys, obviously the defensive ends a little bit, so you're going to maybe go for the high tackle linebackers. So definitely pay attention to your scoring, your starting requirements, things like that. So But yeah, just pay attention to your scoring. That's first and foremost.
Amaze 652 says find where the positions are thin and hit them first. And I agree with that with defensive ends. But I just want to throw that up there.
Yep.
Here.
Yeah, and kind of piggybacking off Mike's answer, know if your league is a general position league or a specific position league, because that makes a huge difference. Huge difference, especially because you're not going to want to target D tackles. You're not going to want to target corners in general position leagues. So that's pretty key.
Yeah, and when drafting linebackers, always you want to go with inside linebackers more or less, or off-ball linebackers. You don't want to go with outside linebackers because just pure volume, tackle volume.
Yep. Inside linebackers and safeties will be your best friends. Yes.
Get them box safeties.
Yes. And if you need help with corners, be sure to hit at Seahawks Dan up because he loves corners.
Loves them.
That's his expertise.
Loves them. It is. He excels there.
Well, Darrell, you got me. Now I got you. Darrell, pick one. DB to keep. Janoris Jenkins, Malcolm Jenkins, or Rayshon Jenkins.
I know where this is going.
Leroy Jenkins.
I'm done.
For those of you who maybe never listened to IDP Nation before, that's our favorite clip, and it gets played once an episode. So if you love Leroy Jenkins or Janoris Jenkins, Malcolm Jenkins, or Rayshawn Jenkins, be sure to tune in to IDP Nation. But anyway, it's funny because Darrell in our IDP Listener League, IDP Nation Listener League, drafted Rayshawn Jenkins and then told me to go check out who he drafted. So he's in a So
if I have to pick out of one of these, I'm taking Janoris Jenkins, especially if it's a specific position league where you start corners.
Yeah, if you're picking corners, Janoris Jenkins is one of those corners.
100%.
Absolutely.
Malcolm Jenkins, he's come out and said he might not feel comfortable playing if we're playing during a pandemic. So it's early. It's something to keep an eye on. You might not want to reach for him. You might want to, Rayshawn Jenkins, he's playing with Derwin James. I mean, we love to say Rayshawn Jenkins just because it's good comedy.
Jenkins.
Anybody with the name Jenkins. Chris Jenkins from the Carolina Panthers back in the day. We got.
See what I have to put up with on a weekly basis. It never ends. It just never ends.
Now we're up to 3 days a week, man. It's more than just a weekly basis.
And I know Dingus is listening, so he is on my crap list right now. I just want him to know it.
He is. That's where the question came from, the chat. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Amaze does remember Chris Jenkins. Yeah, we brought that up on the show a few times.
Oh, wow. Now it's just going to keep snowballing.
What about Colin Jenkins?
Colin Jenkins, yes. I think we did bring him up, too. I think we got all of the Jenkins.
All of them? All right.
Don't encourage these guys. They don't need no help here. I mean, come on.
All right, Mac Attack is back with doing the first draft with dedicated CBs. Who do you think can increase their output? You guys can go ahead and tackle these if you want. If you want to talk about corners.
Honestly, somebody I think who might actually have a nice bounce back year is Eli Apple. So Eli Apple, everybody kind of forgot about him in New York. I mean, he was pretty much terrible, but then gets traded to the Saints. And the second half of that season, he was actually probably a top 5 IDP corner. Last year, 2019, he was another one of those kind of forgotten about guys, and the Saints just let him walk. Free agency, he goes and he signs in Carolina. So Carolina last year had James Bradbury and Dante Jackson, both highly productive corners. Bradbury now goes to the Giants, and Eli Apple to fill that role. He's going to be targeted like wildfire playing against Matt Ryan, Drew Brees, especially playing across from Dante Jackson. So Eli Apple is a guy who I think is going to be highly targeted this year.
Nice.
Yeah, Eli Apple's been picked on most of his career. So.
Yeah.
I'll go with Byron Murphy in Arizona, but they still have Patrick Peterson on the other side. So, he had a good rookie year. And Peterson, did he miss the first 6 games last year? Wasn't that last year?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That he missed with suspension. So you give a full year with Peterson playing, Murphy on the other side. I mean, who are you going to throw at? You going to throw at Peterson? You're going to throw at Murphy? I think they're still going to throw at Murphy. He's going to get the targets. He's going to get targeted. And I think he's going to put up big numbers because that defense is really kind of loaded with Budda Baker back there at safety. You got Peterson at the other corner. You got Jordan Hicks, Isaiah Simmons, wherever they play him. So, I think Murphy is going to have a really, really good year and probably pass up what he did last year.
I like
there's some comment. Eli Apple can suck.
I
like this one, not Logan Ryan, because he doesn't have a team right now.
Oh my God. Don't even get me started on that bonehead move. Oh my God.
They can still bring him back.
Really? They're not going to because they're dumbasses. They're not going to.
They could, though. He's not signed. He's not signed. And like Clowney, the asking price is going to come down, and eventually a team that needs a corner will come get him.
But it won't be the Titans. They're not going to sign him.
Might not be, but
they're going to start Christian Fulton, loser. They're going to start Malcolm Butler, turnstile, and they're going to start Adoree Jackson. But no, let's just let Logan Ryan walk off and
no negative words about Adoree Jackson.
I was
Come
waiting.
on.
I was waiting
They
for
signed
the
Jonathan
Adoree.
Joseph too.
Yeah.
Jonathan Joseph is there. He's only 35.
they need to send that. They need to send that damn loser back to Houston, where he come from.
I thought he was a coach. He was so old, but I guess
Tell us how you really feel, Daryl. Anyways, next question.
You're losing me quick, I'm telling you.
Oh, this one's interesting. Size up. This is from our boy Dynasty Trip here. Size up Jamal Adams in rumored landing spot. San Francisco, Dallas. What's the dream spot? I honestly think San Francisco's a dream spot because, I mean, Jaquiski Tart is there and Jimmy Ward and, telling me that those two are going to,
stay healthy,
compete with Jamal. Yeah, stay healthy and compete with Jamal Adams. No, definitely not.
No.
Dallas has, Dallas would be a good spot for him too, but I think Dallas.
I like San Francisco.
Dallas safeties are a little better than the Niners safeties.
Yeah.
I don't know if would San Francisco be a good spot just because of he would have he's got a lot of really good talented people in front of him, and let's be honest, he doesn't have that in New York. He's doing a lot of things on his own. I think Dallas, again, you've got a couple of good linebackers in front of him, some solid defensive ends. Maybe Houston. Philadelphia just drafted a safety, but still,
Houston does not need him.
What's that?
Houston does not need him. You hush that.
No,
dirty
of course not. No, I don't think so either. But I think he's still Jamal Adams is still better than anybody on that roster, though. Whether you need him or not.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think if for IDP purposes, I think Dallas might be the best spot. I think.
Yeah, I think for IDP, I guess my inkling was in San Francisco, he'd be.
Oh my God!
Secondary.
That defense would. You add someone like Jamal Adams to that defense. That defense is just.
I'm praying for that to happen so badly.
You add Jamal Adams to that defense, you're probably looking at the late '80s San Francisco when they had Ronnie Lott in them. You really got to compare them with that linebacker and that front four. The comparison can be made there.
Here's a question.
But I'm kind of like Mike. I think for IDP purposes, you got to look at Dallas, really.
They couldn't pay DeForest Buckner, but they could pay Jamal Adams.
As a fan, I love the idea of Adams joining San Francisco, just everything you guys said. But with Dallas's high volume offense and opposing teams have to throw to keep up with them, I think it gives just more opportunity for Adams too to supplement his talent.
Mm-hmm.
To go back to Dan, though, is it that they couldn't pay Buckner or they didn't want to? Because they turned around and used that.
They decided to pay Eric Armstead, and they wanted to move Buckner before it got ugly in a contract situation. Is what I'm understanding. Joey might know better. He's the fan of the Niners here. But,
but they used that very first round pick.
Well,
They got
a cheaper contract.
Kinlaw fell into their lap.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't expect Kinlaw to fall out of the top 10.
Yeah, I agree.
I didn't either. I was surprised he fell that far, and I thought, man, how lucky can you get?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think that they were planning on getting Buckner at that point. I think honestly their idea was grab a wide receiver, but then Kinlaw dropped there, and they were just like, well, there's our replacement for Buckner. We might as well just use it.
Perfect sense. Much cheaper option. You don't have to deal with that. I don't think that it was that they couldn't pay for Buckner. It's they just didn't want to. Like you said, Kinlaw fell right into their lap. A much cheaper option. They're going to have control for the next 4, possibly 5 years.
5 years for player option. Yeah.
But
just astounds me they decided to pay Armstead, who had a great year, but it was his first good year.
Yeah, but what did they pay Armstead? Not what they're going to pay Buckner. And it's probably not what they're going to pay Buckner or Armstead and Kinlaw.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they come out, they're getting a 2-for-1 deal, kind of, is how I look at it.
Yeah, and then the thing with Armstead though, now he has to deal with a rookie. Opposite, obviously, he still has Nick Bosa, but yeah, I think he signed a 5-year, $85 million deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I would be surprised if his sacks went down because I think he's just going to kind of be used all over. He's going to probably be an edge setter on the run, probably move inside during pass rush or nickel, but now he kind of loses Buckner alongside him. And now kind of has to deal with a rookie. Obviously, the rookie's a freak of nature, but there's still a learning curve. There's, it's still a rookie. So, but yeah, that's certainly quite a haul for Armstead for sure.
Yeah, and the stars are aligning because in one of my eliminators that's running currently, Ryan Tannehill was just drafted in the 4th round. It's a super flex. And Dingus has a comment
right here for you, Dan.
Logan Ryan won't be back with the Titans. Tannehill destroyed him in practice before ascending to the throne.
What an asshole. Freaking hate you. God, I hate you.
I don't know if we had the parental advisory on this show or not, but I know Darrell's going to push that.
It's definitely necessary.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, well, our guest next week.
I'm not
we
pushing
will
that limit.
definitely
I'm breaking through that.
Our guests next week will definitely need a parental advisory.
Who's on next week?
Well, it's a good time to bring that up. The Dynasty HQ, Dynasty Trades HQ trio.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if people heard Shane on the Podathon, but he doesn't hold his tongue at all. That's for sure. And this is a live, unedited podcast. So, I
see that as a challenge, and I accept that fully.
Like Johnny the Greek says before the IDP podcasts, we might want headphones on if there are children in the room, and
earplugs, whatever you got. Turn on Dora the Explorer, whatever.
Put your wife and kids to bed and go looking for dinner.
Shane is the Hunter S. Thompson of fantasy. He's just like, he is just, I love it. I was on with him last night on the HQ, and it was a ton of fun.
Yeah. And
I love HQ.
So that's next Friday. So we'll tease that a little bit out. So those guys will be joining us. But yeah, back to this week here. So Dingus is having a fun time just ripping Darrell.
Dingus, go away.
He's poking the bear.
And he wonders why people don't like him.
Yeah, okay, the bear. I mean, come on.
Love you, Dingus.
Yeah, man.
I hate you, Dingus.
Dingus getting Darrell all fired up.
No.
Kyle, you may be off the hook with your Aaron Rodgers after this is over.
Hey, right? Yeah, you gave it to me last time. Like I said, I felt like I ran him out of town the way you gave me the business, man. I felt like I ran Favre out of town.
No, Darrell gives everybody the business.
You people pick on me. That's the problem. Y'all pick on me.
It's just because we love you. If we didn't pick on you, you'd think we didn't like you.
Yeah, isn't it? If there was that scene in Last Dance where Jordan and Bird hugged, and they exchanged some words that I can't say on air, but it's like, if you're not greeting your best friend like that, are they really your friend?
Yeah, it's funny. There's a tweet that at 50 Shades of Drunk Jordan, we mentioned him twice here on the show, and he's not even in the chat. Come on. But anyway, he mentioned something about somebody they lost a friend because of fantasy football trash talk. And my response to that was,
really?
if you're friends with somebody, you need to have thicker skin, because I mean, your friends will poke the bear, as Darrell likes to say all the time.
See, that's why I don't have friends.
Your friends are the ones that dig in and because it's fun. I mean, if you should see, I mean, you don't really want to see, but some of the group chats.
I want to see.
I think Dan spends 50% of his time on our Slack chat just making fun of Darrell, just
Oh, yeah.
trying to fire Darrell up.
Yeah.
Just trying to fire him up.
There'll be a legit subject going on about something pertaining to IDP, and boom, dig at Darrell.
Just trying to provoke me. Just trying to.
Well, you know what? Darrell writes better angry, so I try to provoke him to the point where he can write more articles. So
Sure, I'm glad you justify that. Thank you.
So you guys
I
are
don't know.
the people
If you
who
can't
always
trash talk your friends, and if you can't mess around with your friends, I mean, I had my college roommate, bless him, he was a good guy, but God, he took things so literally. College roommate, I had 3 roommates, and one of them was a your mom guy. And right off the bat, he established himself. Everything was your mom. He was a your mom guy. And my other roommate took everything literally. He's like, you don't even know my mom. I'm like, dude, you got to just roll with it, because you're going to have a horrible year, man. You're just going to get picked on all year. You better just learn to roll with this right now, or you're screwed.
Okay, true story. And Dan will appreciate this because he's a Notre Dame guy. And he's actually in this league with me this year, my home league. And the guy's name is Jeff, so he knows who this is.
yeah,
But he's a huge Notre Dame guy. You would think he works for the school with the stuff he comes up with. So back when Manti Te'o come out, me and we're talking football, trades, whatever, and he called me on the phone, and we're going off, and he just keeps poking at me, and I'm like, man, just stop, and he wouldn't stop, and I was like, so this is when the Manti Te'o imaginary girlfriend incident happened when they played Alabama for the national championship, so on, so on.
they got stopped.
Man, I cut into him about Te'o. And I swear to you, he was cussing me so loud on the phone that my wife walked in to the room. She's like, who is that? And it just kept going for like an hour and a half. And I was just joking with him. And he got so pissed off that he didn't talk to me for like 3 weeks. Literally. 3 weeks, he didn't talk to me.
FF Spaceman, can you confirm or deny this truth to this? I'm always kind of polite with my league mates. No room for trash talk.
Yeah, that is a total lie. Todd is probably full of vinegar, and I don't think he's ever started off a sentence with "How many rings do I have?" or "Count my rings," or just. And oh goodness, I have to remember. Sometimes he's just trash talking, because sometimes I'm like, it gets you going. But
I'm gonna
knock you out.
I think Todd actually just gave me a small piece of trash talk in a league we're playing right now.
Yeah.
I think somebody said you were too busy to pick or something like that. But
yeah, that was Todd.
I will say also with Darrell, now I know who's always getting on him, because he comes into my group chat that I'm in with him. And he's all heated up, and I have to, coax him. It's okay, buddy. Let's have another drink. And so let's listen to some music. So now I'm like, all right, let's go, Darrell. Let's take it to him here.
I have to have somewhere to vent.
Oh my God, you should. I got it big time in my first IDP league, because I had never done IDP before, so I'm like, what the hell? So just went into it really, and ignoring my own advice that I gave earlier. I didn't pay attention to anything, and I leave with this roster, and basically everybody in the league is like, Mike, with your draft, you're ensuring that you're going to be in our league next year. And I'm like, it's like, yeah, just. And as the season went on, I can see, I totally messed up. I got my first pick right, but oh my God, I'm drafting. I think I drafted. I don't even remember. It was just I drafted like guys like Sean Phillips, cornerbacks, and just it was not pretty. Just basically ignore, my old, if I could go back to that year, is just Mike. No. I think the one draft pick I got right was Paul Posluszny, and I think I ended up trading him because I think I got Larry Fitzgerald. I think that was the second or third year, which actually it was fine, but Yeah, basically like, yeah, Mike, you basically ensured that you're going to be in our league for the rest, for Kingdom Come. Really nice roster. I'm like, I have a feeling that this is not complimentary.
They want you to make your yearly deposit to their fund. Is what they were saying.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're like, yeah, thanks for doing your part to fund the first and third place. We appreciate it.
Yeah.
Well, joke's on them. Within the next couple of years, I started studying up, and I went on a roll where I was making the playoffs a couple of years in a row, and then finally ended up winning in the league, I think in 2013. But yeah, that very first year, holy cow, jeez.
All right. Let's see. Intro to IDP leagues. So Zach started some intro to IDP leagues. For newbies, basically getting new people involved in IDP. If you have never played IDP, we encourage you to try it. Find a league with a few friends. I mean, even if you do a small, like 6-team league, just to kind of explore it and play around with it. Any way you can try to do it. An eliminator is a great way, and self-promote here, but it's a great way to dip into it because you don't have to set lineups. You don't know how to. You don't have to do much of anything besides,
just draft
your team, and you sit back and watch the chaos. You watch your injuries mount up. You could end up with like 0 offensive players if they all get hurt, or this year if they're all quarantined for 2 weeks at a time, which is going to make it really interesting, I think.
It's going to be a weird season.
This whole off season. This is going to be a very challenging off season with the amount of restrictions that are going on and what you can and cannot report on. I think there are rules that you cannot report who's playing in formations and who's playing in packages. I think there's going to be no reporting. It's going to be very general. So, and then with essentially, I think no preseason games. I know it's been down to 2, and now there's a report that the players now are voting on 0.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a very fun preseason of no news. So, and then, I think the players can opt out. I think that's now on the books that the players, if they don't feel comfortable, they can opt out.
The left tackle for the Bucs today said he's considering that, and no jersey swapping because you can grab and dig in piles for the football for 3 hours, but you can't jersey swap. I get the point.
Well, can't you just toss the jersey from 6 feet away, or I don't know, lay it on the ground and have them pick it up?
In all honesty, a jersey that you've been sweating and spitting on, do you really want to get that from somebody who might have, I mean, I'm not saying they have it, but, it would go with any sickness, but,
take it to the wash and send it to me in the mail.
Yep. There you go.
There you go. Yep. How do you know? How do you know you've not already had it? Unless you've been tested. I mean, seriously.
I don't know. Players don't know. They're getting tested as they come to training camps. We know Von Miller had it. We know Ezekiel Elliott had it. Even though Ezekiel Elliott said, I thought HIPAA laws were a thing, but I guess for NFL athletes, it doesn't apply.
You go, Zeke.
I kind of like that clapback. I mean, I think the Vegas aspect of the NFL is really why these injuries are reported as much as they are, because I think if Vegas didn't have a big stake in, the odds and stuff of games, we probably wouldn't know any of these injury things. Because, I mean, they have to tell the other teams, I guess. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Sunday morning, you could have late scratches. Guy shows up with a fever, can't play.
I cannot read.
So I got a question
in this chat.
You can't read the writing in the
chat. So I got a question. With all this COVID stuff, are you expanding your rosters, like your IR for that stuff, or no?
I had seen a lot of that. The specific IR spot for people that test positive. So some people were talking about doing that.
Man.
See, I'm commissioned of a few leagues, and I'm thinking no because I leave it where it's at because I think that's where some of your better ownership moves come from. If you've got, especially if you've got deep rosters, that's where it's going to come into effect. So,
well, you're one home league, man. If we get like one guy injured, we're going to be pulling at straws because you have the roster limits on those. So
do you think you should expand the IRs then, like add a few more slots?
I would be in favor of it, but I'm also always in favor of huge rosters.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I have a serious question for you guys. So I'm a commissioner in my league that I commission. I have unlimited IR spots if the player is on your roster when he gets sustains the injury. What's the drawback of that? Like why? Like it's we all know that injuries are pretty random. So why are we punishing people? And it plays perfectly into a season like this. I don't see the drawback. What is the drawback? I guess you could play smart. You have to make harder decisions when you have more people who are injured on your roster. But
yeah, Sean.
See, that's where.
Well, before we get to that, will they be IR eligible though? It depends on what platform you play on. MyFantasyLeague.com, you can set out as a IR eligible spot. It's the commissioner has to change the setting. Though. Yeah, it's not an automatic thing. But I know, like on ESPN stuff, if they're out, you can set them on too.
Yeah, and most of the leagues that I'm in, they just need to be out for the week for them to be IR'd. So they don't necessarily, and it'll be interesting to see how they designate if someone is. They're not going to put someone on IR if they're sick. It'll just be if someone's tested positive, what is it? They're just they're gone for 2 weeks, like they have the flu or something. So, but yeah, most of the leagues I'm in, if a player is designated as out, you can IR them.
Yeah, and it's up to your commission. It's up to your league. I know a lot of my leagues are trying to be proactive about it. Some of them are going to saying, okay, well, how are we going to determine the draft next year? And I'm like, well, let's worry about the season first,
Yeah, that's the season actually happens first.
Let it happen.
But I mean, that's an interesting question itself. What if the season doesn't happen? How do you come up with your draft order for next year? Because the team that got the 101 this year shouldn't just automatically get the 101 next year. The best solution I've heard was lottery. But I think so. Some sort of or using a randomizer or something like that. Yeah, because just because your team sucked last year and then you got Jonathan Taylor at the 101 doesn't mean you should also get Chuba Hubbard at the 101 next year or whatever.
Right. And kind of double up on that, what are you doing with league fees and stuff? Are you going to just roll them over to next year, or do you want to say, hey, we're going to take the 2020 pool and put it with the 2021 and make it a double thing? Are you just rolling it over in your leagues, or are you going to make it a bigger pool for 2021? Me, I kind of like the 2021 idea, because if 2020 is a wash, we don't play, which I hope we do. But, yeah, you roll it over to 2021, make a bigger pool. This COVID thing has made it a challenge. What do you do with these rookies? You got the draft going on. You don't know what you have. You don't know who's doing what. So I kind of like that idea. And if you can come out and win that, if we don't play this year and you can come out and win next year, then, hey, you deserve it, man.
And then what will be really interesting is what happens, because I'm not going to lie.
Dave, somebody is all over you right now, Dave.
This is just my life, how it is.
I'm sorry. Wait a minute. Let's let Mike finish. I hated to interrupt him, but I couldn't resist. Go ahead, Mike.
No, but what would really throw a monkey wrench in is if college doesn't play, and I think that's I think that is a real possibility that there is no college season because they're essentially they're kids. They have no collective bargaining. They don't have any. There's no one backing them, and their kids are not getting paid. They've got scholarships. So what would really throw a monkey wrench, what happens with the draft next year if there is no college season? I mean, there's not going to be no tape. There's no tape there, I mean, how is that's going to be really
we're kind of year tape that they have so far.
So we're kind of digging a hole here, and just like Mike said, what do you think, Mike? If let's say we don't have a 2020 season at all, college or pro.
Yep.
Does the NCAA say, okay, we didn't have a season last year. If you're a senior, you can come back next year? Is that a possibility?
See, I don't know. I think that was the thing with the college basketball season, is that the college basketball season with no tournament, they're like, oh, all these players, they didn't have a tournament. Yeah, well, they played the majority of the season. They didn't get a playoff, and that sucks, but they didn't get a playoffs, but they played their full regular season. This instance, they may not even play their year. So yeah,
right.
So senior, I think you should have that option to come back and play. And
I do too. I agree with that.
If you're eligible for the draft and you want to take your chance, and you can go out, obviously. But if there's no season and you're a senior, I think you should, if you're able, you should be able to play.
This has a major impact.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you think about it, if we do not have a 2020 season whatsoever, and the NCAA says, okay, you guys that are seniors can come back for one more year, what does that do to the draft? Both NFL and IDP, NFL fantasy.
Right.
That's the kids are going to say, show me the money. I'm going to the pros. I think if Najee Harris and Travis Etienne could have that do-over, they would be in the draft. They would have been in this draft class.
I think the seniors. I think the seniors that may not be drafted high would probably go back, but the guys that are first through third rounders will probably come out. Yeah. Obviously, there's no tape. You're probably going to be looking at again their junior season, but yeah, this whole thing is just stupid. But
it probably actually helps the juniors a little bit because the early declares, like the sophomores, they don't have that extra year of tape they can put on. So maybe it does help the juniors a little bit. And we haven't addressed this yet. You were talking about, what's this going to do for the NFL draft? And what I care, what's going to do to my prospect database? All these numbers that I have, and there's no college stats, there's no final year stat. I'm sweating my tail off here. How it's going to do for my data analytics side here?
Oh, of course, it's all about you. Yeah,
exactly. Here,
so the kid, it's all about you and my database management.
How do I even apply that? He summed it up perfectly. This is exactly what I wanted him to say. So
we got a couple things here. It says Todd says, "Hey Dave, our dynasty. What will our dynasty league do? The back-to-back champ should be punished for his dominance, and this is the second part of that. Should not is classic blunder. Typing.
I just ignore that. I just ignore that because that's what you got to do with Todd. But as I say, I'm getting text messages of him showing me the championship belt for IDP that he has. So it's I'm getting it in the chat. I'm getting it in text. It's rough. I'm just having another drink.
Back to the questions here. Mac Attack here. With 3 LBs to start each week, I have Roquan, Zach Cunningham, and Van Der Esch. Next pick. Kirksey or Kwiatkowski. So those are the two I guess he has lined up. And
Kwiatkowski, no doubt.
I'm lined up in the chat, so I got to go see who I'm going to pick here live.
I'm going Kirksey personally. I'm going Kirksey. He's going to Green Bay where Martinez just absolutely devoured tackles. There's nobody else there. And Kirksey has been a 130 tackle guy twice in his career already. So he's got the talent, and it's not like he's had like career-threatening injuries. I mean, he had a bicep, and I think he might have had a knee injury a couple of years ago, but I can't really remember. But the bicep last year.
But see, that's the thing. The injuries kind of bite him. I like Kwiatkowski. I really do. I mean,
but he's got Corey Littleton to deal with.
I think he passes up Littleton. Even Dan said that last week, and that was a hot take. I was thinking about it. I was like,
that was a Patreon special. Shh. Got to join Patreon to get that kind of.
Oh shoot, my bad. Anyway, I was like, you know what? I'm buying that. I really am.
Yeah, I just think that I was giving props to Mike, although we might not see this year, seeing who wears the green dot during preseason. They're saying it could be Kwiatkowski with Littleton playing the outside. I think.
Mike's on top of this. I know he's got the answer for this.
Yeah.
So if you're starting 3 of those guys, are you really starting Kirksey or Kwiatkowski over any of those other 3?
Bye weeks.
I might look to trade somebody.
COVID
honestly.
breaks.
No, I don't think you're starting them over those, but like he said, bye weeks or maybe an injury if something happens.
Oh, yeah. So I think next up, I think with the 3 linebackers that you have the luxury of letting things play out, letting Kirksey establish himself in Green Bay and seeing how the tackle attempts and how the tackles sort out with Kwiatkowski and Littleton. So those 3 guys, I think for the first couple of weeks of the season, you could just, plug and chug Smith, Cunningham, and Van Der Esch every week and let Kirksey and maybe Kwiatkowski make the decision for you. But I think if I was going to start somebody, it would probably be Kirksey because the tackle opportunities are basically all his for the most part. I don't think there's really any safeties that you really need to worry about. I mean, everybody talks about Darnell Savage. Okay, he's fine, but I think he's still more of a free safety. But even up front, I mean, who's going to play alongside Kirksey? Oren Burks, he can't stay healthy. Who else is next to him? And, again, Kwiatkowski really showed that he can play. Did a really good job, really solid job filling in for injuries. He's that backup quarterback, backup running back. He's kind of like Michael Turner playing behind LaDainian Tomlinson, playing behind really good players, and now go somewhere else where he has a chance to play. So Kwiatkowski can be that Michael Turner equivalent. Now he's getting the chance, he's getting the snap. So that probably would be Kirksey just because he doesn't have much help surrounding him. But I think your linebacker situation is definitely one to be envious of. You're in pretty good shape.
Yes, that's a heck of a unit.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
My turn to pick in the listener league. Sorry. I'm going to go with Gary and Conley from Houston at corner. I think he'll get abused pretty well. This is the 52nd round of our veteran-only draft. We still have a rookie draft after this. And it's a 16 or 14 team. So 52nd round. We're grasping at straws here. There's nobody available. So I got my 4th corner. How about that? Darrell will be proud.
See, I told you Dan's the guy. If you want to talk about corners, at Seahawks Dan 8, he is your man.
All righty. So anybody else with the Queet and Kirksey chime in?
I'm going Kirksey for sure.
Kirksey.
Yeah, I think if he plays all 16 games and is healthy all year, he has a legitimate chance to finish as LB1 in that Green Bay system. I mean, Martinez leaves behind like 1,050 some snaps, and they play a lot of dime.
Right.
And like Mike said, there's really not much next to him. Burks can't stay healthy. Curtis Bolton made a splash in camp last year, but then he got hurt, unfortunately. They had Ty Summers. He played really well in the preseason. Yeah. I was actually at the first preseason game against Houston, and he had like 10 or 11 tackles. He looked really well, but he just couldn't get on the field to get any defensive snaps. He played mostly special teams. I know he's been working real hard, this offseason training when he can. But
so with Martinez does he have a chance, you think?
Summers, you talking?
Oh. Yeah, Summers, yeah.
It all depends what they want to do. They like to bring in Raven Green in their dime package as an extra safety to play up in the box. Last year, BJ Goodson was the second highest linebacker to get snaps, and I don't even think he hit 300. So there just wasn't many snaps to go around. So, I mean, if Kirksey's healthy, he's just going to be out there all the time mopping up tackles.
And I think if I'm not mistaken, I think the Packers really ran – if I'm not mistaken, they did a lot of packages where they were just running out Martinez as that lone inside backer. So, yes. I mean, Burks is probably going to play 25-30% of the snaps maybe.
Right.
I mean, outside of Kirksey, unless someone established themselves, unless they play more of maybe a two linebacker. I see them continuing to play that similar package.
I agree, Mike. Yeah, I think you're going to see the same packages, and the opportunity is huge. It's just, can he stay healthy? You know.
Boys, I'd love to stick around, but the wife has messaged me. She needs me.
Yes.
She needs me.
Joey, get
Dingus.
your plugs in before we go here.
All right, guys. You can find all my work on idpguys.org, Dynasty Football Digest. Also, be sure you wait for the IDP update. It's going to be coming up within the next week or two as soon as I get my intro finished. And I'll be dropping my own podcast, my own one man, just like my man Smooth Jazz over here in the corner. He was,
Smooth Jazz, yeah. I told you it's sticking. It's going to stick.
He was the pioneer for me. All right. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
See you, Joey.
Later, Joey.
Take care, man.
Yes, thanks for coming on. And we'll get a sixth man in the booth here shortly. So real quick here. Speak of the devil, and he shall appear.
Hey, there he is.
I've spent more time with Dingus than my wife the last week.
It's really fitting because Dingus since he brought on an NFL player onto the podathon.
I had my 30 minutes of fame, and I got to sit in the corner doing nothing.
So Dingus will be joining us next week as well. He's jumping in here, sliding into Joey's chair here. So Dingus, you want to introduce yourself for the people that don't know you? I mean, there's some that might not, but.
Yeah, so apparently I am now the villain in the He-Man division there because I'm busting everyone's balls left, right, and center because, you know what, I got no friends, and that's what I like to do. I like to come on to shows and sit in the corner and kind of play with myself while everyone else talks to the more cool kids than me. So, and I'm comfortable with that. I'm okay with that. So
Wait, Vincent Smith's not coming on tonight?
No, everyone can go home now.
Come on. I thought that was a done deal.
Spaceman go.
That's the only reason I got the link sent to me, right? They're like, hey, is Vincent coming on? Absolutely. Yeah, here you go. Boom. Dingus 4. I like to bust Darrell's balls probably more than anybody. Right up there with Dan as far as busting Darrell's balls. Been doing it for a few years now, too. So,
yeah. Definitely. We have the Stash Manian Devil, which is a great name. Darrell, is that you?
No, it was not me. I promise. I promise it wasn't me. I swear.
The Stash Manian Devil is going to take you all down in the IDP Nation Listener League. Just saying. That is a quality name. And he got his guy. He made sure he got the Stash Manian Devil himself.
That was my next question. Yeah.
Yes, he definitely did get Gardner Minshew. It was kind of close because, I mean, I've been picking right before or right after the Stash Manian Devil. So I considered it, but I was like, I think I went with Kirk Cousins instead. And I think Minshew went right after Kirk Cousins. So, but
I actually have a question for you guys.
Yes.
The Baltimore Ravens linebackers, is it Patrick Queen's job? Are we just assuming that? Is that what's going to happen, or is Judon's in there too?
Well,
no, I think Harbaugh has said as much that Queen is going to be the guy. Okay. And then I think Harrison is going to play a lot too.
Yeah, I think they'll play a lot. Judon's more the pass rushing guy, so
yeah.
And
I think
Ferguson and
Tyus
Bowser and whoever else they throw in there.
But I think Harbaugh, like I said, I think Queen is basically the guy.
I mean, I can't believe they landed him. That was quite the draft day coup, in my opinion. But
that's what I wanted Green Bay to take.
They had a lot of holes in that linebacking core because they've all gone to the Jets. Onwuasor and Mosley. They really, I mean, last year, they had LJ Fort and
Chris Board.
Chris Board couldn't get on the field. Yeah, he was looking like a name to keep an eye on in camp and stuff, but he just never made it happen. I was all over it too, picking him up everywhere. Just didn't make it happen.
Cousins was the better pick. That's why I took him. But yeah, as far as rookie linebackers, and I have an article coming out shortly that takes a look at the past 10 years of drafts of the first 3 rounds and kind of looking at who has succeeded. And we really have 8 guys that have gone from rookie season to LB1 in their rookie season. And I mean, Luke Kuechly and Darius Leonard are the poster boys for that. And really, 2018 was ridiculous as far as number of linebackers.
Weren't there like 5 or 6 that finished? I mean, 2018 you had Leonard, Edmonds, Warner, Roquan,
Van Der Esch, and I think there was one more that finished like an LB 3 or 4. So you had like 6 guys that were legit. In like, you look at like 2011, there was like nobody that hit. So it's like you're really, we have been treated to a boom. It's kind of like the year that Mike Evans for receivers. If you want to look at offensive counterparts, that year where all those wide receivers hit in the rookie season, that's not normal. Same way that linebackers hitting in the first season is not normal. I think Patrick Queen has the best chance to be an LB2. I'd say that's fair for him to shoot for. If he's an LB1, then hey, I mean, he's my number 1 linebacker out of rookies anyway. But I don't think the other guys are gonna. I mean, they might have a chance at like an LB 3 or 4. It's all going to depend on playing time, and this year especially, it's going to depend on how well do they know the playbook. Because you're not going to hand over the keys to your defense to some guy that's like doesn't know the assignments and proving that you know the assignments and proving that you know how to call the audibles and stuff like that. You're not going to have 4 games to do that. So it's going to be – I think a lot of these coaches are going to lean on their vets.
Yeah, I think so too. But yeah, last year because I know everybody likes to hear about everybody's fantasy league, but I think last year I think only 2 linebackers finished within the top 25 maybe, and it was the 2 Devons.
Yeah, they were the 2 Devons were pretty much it. And really, honestly, if you look at the draft class last year, it was the 2 Devons and everybody else. So it was kind of fitting, And you look at this year, you have the 3 guys that were taken in the first round, and you can count Jordan Brooks as the 4th guy in there, I guess. But I think Brooks and Murray. I'm completely blanking on the 3rd rookie.
Simmons.
Simmons. I guess it's Simmons. Simmons, Murray, Queen, and Brooks were the 4. Brooks and Murray, I think, are a couple years away from seeing their ceiling. Whereas I think Queen and Simmons, I can't honestly. I mean, I think he'll be a great football player. I just don't know where he fits in the IDP landscape.
And I think 2017 was not a good group either.
Yeah, that was pretty bad.
I think Gerard Davis was the only one that I think cracked like the top 30.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't have my notebook in front of me with all that stuff. I have like 4 pages of stats and every linebacker drafted. Some of them were just terrible. Like, you remember Bjorn Warner?
Yeah. Do you remember Aaron Curry?
Yes.
You know what?
I think that was 2009, though. I don't think that was 2010.
I think that was 9. I think that was 09.
Yeah, it was
before. Curry was 09.
I didn't want to look at that.
Him and his wife there, they had a nice little side hustle going too that year. I think she was doing backpacks or something. This is insider knowledge you're getting right here.
Yes, Aaron Curry was
He's supposed to be the man.
And he was can't miss. I remember that. Can't miss.
Was he out of Wake? Was that where he came out of?
Wake Forest.
Yep.
Yeah.
That should have told you something right there.
Yep.
Wake Forest.
What pick was he too? Wasn't it like top 5?
5.
Oh yeah, he was
top.
He was
I think it was number
3,
4.
maybe.
Was it 3 or 4? Maybe. Yeah,
was he undersized, or was he the right size?
6'2", 250.
Those are not bad. Okay.
All right, so we have a question. We have a 5 right now because Hollywood does as he does all the time. He just disappears during podcasts. Except we have the video proof that he does this now. But anyway, favorite comedy movie, The Longest Yard or The Replacements? I got to go Replacements here, especially since I've been chiming in everywhere that asks what's the Washington football team should be called. Sentinels. They should bring in Shane Falco to play quarterback because he's got about as good of a chance as the other guys do.
I'll go with Little Giants.
Little Giants.
Yes.
That wasn't one of the choices, but okay.
Are we just choosing between these two?
Yeah, well, that was the question. Comedy, football movie, Longest Yard, or The Replacements?
I'll watch The Replacements.
Yeah.
I'm going to go a little off the board here because I'm assuming he's talking about the Adam Sandler Longest Yard. I'm still going to say the better movie is the original Longest Yard.
I'll agree with that one.
Oh, yeah. That's a great one.
I'm going Little Giants with Spaceman.
Daryl even know what we're talking about.
Yes, I do. Comedy, football movie, The Longest Yard of The Replacement. And I agree with Dingus. The original Longest Yard is the best.
So if
I will say it's a tough toss-up between Ball Curl on one and the annexation of Puerto Rico on two. Those are two very solid offensive plays to run.
Yep.
So if we're talking football movies, is Ace Ventura a football movie?
Oh my goodness.
Laces out and
out, Dan.
I mean, it's Ace Ventura is the football movie. I mean, it's centered around football. And there's nothing funnier than when he is in the mental ward with the tutu and the hair.
Right.
It's a great gift.
Oh, this one will sting. The Longest Yard was the one Kevin Dyson couldn't get.
See, that's
I don't know, Sean. But
Rip your mentions, Sean. You're done. You're canceled.
I don't know.
Sean just became our favorite viewer.
No, he didn't, and I don't know what our parameters is. But as I have called you many times, Dan, he is also a dirty rotten fuck. Okay, that's where I'm going. I'm just saying. That's uncalled for. I can't.
I'm going to start following Sean right now.
Dingus.
Just because.
I hate you, Dingus. You go away, Dingus. I hate you. See, people just keep poking the damn bear. That's what they do.
Well, we're 90 minutes in. It only took 90 minutes to start completely ganging up on Darrell. So
hey,
you may be off.
Okay.
I'm here for
Dan
you. Dan
may be off the hook for the next week after that comment right there.
Oh man.
I'm here for you, Darrell.
You know what? We need to get T-shirts made up where it's like, "Don't poke the bear," and it's like Winnie the Pooh sitting there with Daryl's head.
Damn it, Dingus.
And I have been on the show for 8 minutes.
See, we need the IDP Lounge logo here, and then on the back, they poke the bear with Daryl's head. There we go.
See, this is why I don't have friends right here. This is exactly why.
By the way, real quick shout out to Nate, who did all this nice artwork and the video beforehand and made this real easy, so I only had to click a couple buttons. So thanks to Nate for the artwork and setting all this stuff up because, I don't know how to do any of that stuff. I know to click some buttons. That's about it. So
that's what you do best. Click buttons.
Yep. I know how to click the mute button on you too here.
You bring nothing else to the table.
Wow. It shows how lame I am with technology, though. I was impressed with your countdown video. I was like, oh, look at those. The countdown video is even cool.
That was all Nate. And
that was awesome.
Darrell is muted officially. You're out of timeout. Here you go.
It's like the official IDP Lounge timeout.
See, Dingus is in the He-Man division, but I have the power.
Hey, so you can mute me all they want.
There, eh?
You can mute me all you want, but the good thing about this video is live, so I got you. I got you right here.
So we're sitting in the He-Man division. We're all talking. We're busting everyone's balls about running. Like if you're on the clock for more than 10 minutes, you're getting your balls busted. That's kind of the rule over there. and Troy, Troy Olsen, right? He's going off, and he drops a "your mama this" or whatever. I go, dude, my mom passed away, man, like 3 years ago. And he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry." I'm like, "This is kind of awkward, but my mom passed away." And he's like backpedaling back. I'm like, "No, I'm just busting your balls. She's alive and well."
Oh man, I did that to a telemarketer once. They kept calling, and I was like, "Parents died. Leave me alone." So.
And they probably still tried to sell you on something.
They probably did. I don't know.
The next thing that Nate needs to do is he needs to get like a skin that has like a penalty box. So every time someone gets muted, it's like you can change a skin for like the penalty box and they can be muted.
Move Darrell down to the penalty box. Yeah.
Damn, I'll be screwed forever.
Not Darrell. Gosh, I don't want to team up on Darrell here.
We need the IDP Lounge swear jar. We can raise money for charity.
That is a fantastic idea.
No, it's not, because I would be broke.
Well, watch your filthy mouth then. This is a children's show. I could have children come through that door any moment. There's 13 of them. I don't know what's happening.
Dingus,
I got no control.
Dingus. Right here, Dingus. I got you.
Dingus,
right here.
you said you have 13. Where's the other 5?
The other 5 moved out finally.
Yeah.
He's the only human being I know that can field a full baseball team.
With bullpen too.
Yeah, with bullpen and a designated hitter and pinch hitters.
The chat's gotten quiet. Any questions for us, chat? We call on you. Wrap it up.
Zach.
Oh man.
I knew I should have brought Vincent with me.
There's universal health care up in Canada, I'm sure.
Oh, it's beautiful here.
Oh god.
If things keep the weather going in America, I may be moving to Canada pretty soon. I'm just saying.
The borders are closed.
Yeah.
Screw it. I'll get in one way or another. Don't challenge me, Dan.
You'll say you're one of Dingus's kids.
There you go.
Like
I can be his. I can be his dependent. Hey, Daddy, how are you?
I never want you to say those words ever again.
Favorite, and they must be either they're Canadian or British, because look at the spelling of favorite. Favorite IDP player and why? Bobby Wagner, LB1 in my heart. Always.
Oh my God, here we go with the Bobby Wagner stuff.
He's my favorite to root for. I mean, if I had to pick one that I have most commonly on my teams, it's probably Buda Baker, because I drafted the bejesus out of him when he was a rookie. So,
wow. Favorite
if we're,
IDP
are we? Is it present or past or
all time?
Yeah, that makes it all time.
I gotta tell you. I mean, for me, I think it still begins and ends with Luke Kuechly for me.
Luke.
Ooh, nice. I didn't see that coming, Mike.
And we have Mac is Aussie. We are huge in Australia, I'll tell you.
We are freaking legends in Australia. Oi, 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 oi.
Aussie.
You know where Australia is.
I watched, actually, I think it was halftime of an Australian footy game this morning before I had to go to work. But, yeah. So, Kyle, how about you? Favorite IDP player?
I was going to say Luke Kuechly, because he's just been
nice.
So fun to watch. Another guy that I really like, even though he's in my division and not on the Packers team, is Daniil Hunter. I own him a lot of places, and he's just fun to watch, man. He gets after it. But
see, you're a smart man, Kyle. Smart man.
I will
I don't
say
hear that very often.
Cameron Jordan is up there just because of if you look up, and it really doesn't have anything to do with his play, but it's the fact that he was asked about Ben Roethlisberger, about Roethlisberger being a top quarterback. Look for that video clip. It's absolutely hysterical because he questions Ben Roethlisberger being a top quarterback, and just his reaction to the whole thing is gold, because one, I'm a Browns fan and I hate the Steelers, so you dog the Steelers in any way and you're good in my book. But one of the things someone asked him, or he was asking the reporter, and he goes, he rattles off some quarterbacks and he goes, then you got Peyton, and the reporter goes, who? And George's like, Peyton Manning? He's within the past few years, but it's just a really funny clip, and Jordan has a lot of personality, so that also kind of goes a long way with me. But that was that. If you can find that clip, just give it a watch. It's really funny.
Yeah, I think I called him Jordan Cameron when you were on our show.
Tight end of the Browns.
Yeah. It was an interesting time when both of those guys were in the league, because I would flip their names all the time. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Spaceman.
So all time, there's a couple, but one that pops out is Patrick Willis for the 49ers. He was just he was a beast, and I felt like he ended it too soon. I wish he could have played a little bit longer, and then this actually might be a little unpopular because of what he did on the field this year. But Myles Garrett, what he does as far as play is concerned, I thought whatever happened on the field it really stunted his breakout season, obviously. But I just think he has the potential to be a top 3 IDP defensive end, or actually probably is already if you want to think about it. But
I'm really excited to see him this year. He's going to be playing with a bit of a chip on his shoulder, so I'm really excited to see him play for sure. And you say Willis, oh my God. I think 2007 had Patrick Willis and John Beeson, and those two guys were just studs. They were kind of like the Kuechly and Levante David, but before them. But those two, Willis, he was a stud.
Yeah, I told the story on the FF SmackDown the other day of Navarro Bowman basically winning me a championship at Week 16 on a Monday night. So Navarro Bowman holds a special place in my heart and my bank account. So,
ooh, a Seahawks fan giving a 49ers player love. Let's mark that down.
Yeah, we better mark that one down for sure.
Fantasy, you can't let your team fandom blind the production.
Okay, Seahawk Dan. Like that's in your Twitter handle, man. That's your
plan. And that's what pains me, and it pains me to write something complimentary of Steeler defensive players. It's like, please let Carpal Tunnel start now. I'm about to write something about the Steelers, please. And it doesn't happen. But no, you do. You got to separate. Separate your fandom and fantasy, and you know what? And hey, if Devin Bush wins me $1,000,
it's all good.
So be it.
Dingus, your favorite.
So
we got a couple more questions here.
Okay, so this year, right now, on a lot of my rosters and how they're constructed, Deion Jones and Max Crosby are on a lot of my roster, so they're kind of a couple of my favorites right now. If we're going back a little ways, your Ray Lewis and your Brian Urlacher are definitely guys that are on the board. But my favorite player of all time, when it comes to IDP, and for the same reason you're talking about Bowman here, is I was in a big money league. I went to the waiver wire and I picked up one Jamar Chaney.
Yes, he won me an all IDP championship too.
That absolutely tore it off one season off the waiver wire. I'm like, forever, like you said, you are now my favorite IDP player for all time.
He had like a 3 or 4 week stretch where he it was like 14 tackles, 15 I mean, he just went on a tear.
He had an insane season there that 1 year. Like, for someone you got off the waiver, if I can remember what he had, it was.
And then he fell off a cliff the next season, and he was done.
Let's see here. See if we can find him anywhere.
I think one of the best defensive players' football names was Pat Angerer.
Yep.
Yes.
I had him on a couple
Yes.
of Pat Anger
EJ Speed's pretty good
for the Colts.
Yeah.
So going back to Chaney, the year was 2011.
Yep.
He had 92 combined tackles, 67 solo, 25 assists,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just over like a 5-week
Yeah.
period. Though. You just absolutely tore it up. He dropped off week 16. So if you put him in your lineup week 16, it probably didn't help you, but he got you to that championship because it was insane. It was averaging like 12 tackles
Yeah.
a game.
I remember that very well. It was insane.
All right, we got a couple other questions to go here. Can LVE and Jaylon coexist as top IDP assets in Dallas? If not, who's the play? And he also wanted to add, don't give me the injury excuse that LVE might get injured, but
They've already coexisted.
They've done it before. So I have no problem having both on the roster. There's a handful of linebacker duos. Sometimes you don't like having linebackers from the same team just because it kind of limits your floor. But those two, those are it.
And you guys just talked about it. You talked about Willis and Bowman back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Same kind of thing. Jaylon Smith and LVE, they both can coexist in the same lineup. The thing I like about Jaylon Smith up until last year was you could get him 3, 4, 5 rounds later. So you got a better value on Jaylon Smith.
You can get Van Der Esch 3, 4, 5 rounds later now. So.
Van Der Esch is definitely down. Yeah, Smith is a top 3 guy now.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think Smith is the safer play out of the two, just because neck injuries.
Scary.
Like he was already wearing that neck guard like before he got injured, so it's like he's got that in the back of his head. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to affect him, mentally, but if you're trying to prevent that kind of stuff already, it's not a promising sign. So I'm going Jaylon. Anybody else? Anybody going LVE?
I'll take LVE. I think what you get out of him, he is a straight dog, man. When he's healthy and on his point, there's nobody better in the game. He's almost a throwback to the old days. You got to love that stuff.
That rookie year was big. Didn't he have over 100 solos?
Yeah, it was.
102 solos or something? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take Smith, but LVE's talent is definitely, unquestioned. He's just got to show he can stay healthy. That's all. But yeah, they can definitely coexist. They've shown it before.
I want to say I want to go Jaylon Smith because of, it's just safer because of injuries. But Jaylon Smith has a major career injury in his back pocket too, so it's tough to make that argument as well. But even though he's had longer, he's been recovered for longer.
Yeah. Well, here's another comment. You guys love Leroy Jenkins, but did you World of Warcraft? I guess that
is. You just keep poking the damn bear. That's what's going to happen.
It's great about the chat.
With Jaylon, I don't even think I'm not really worried about Jaylon's injury. I think it's all past. I mean, he's played.
I agree too. I agree
in all 16 games since he's been in the league. I know. I mean, in his rookie year, he technically only started 6, but he's appeared in all 16 games for 3 of his seasons. And yes, Brian Urlacher and Lance Briggs were good.
Yep.
That was a really good duo. Briggs was so underrated.
Yeah,
definitely was.
Who's the most impressive defensive player you've seen in person? I don't catch many football games live, so I catch them on my couch most of the time.
No, I have seen one.
I've met Brandon Graham at an Eagles autism function, but
no, the most impressive defender I've ever seen in my life, Lawrence Taylor. No doubt, that dude is. I want no part of that.
Mine was definitely Reggie White when I was a kid. I went to Lamp.
Reggie White was the bomb.
That club coming through, he would just throw tackles and get after it, man. I remember going to a game when I was a kid with my dad and got to see that in person, and that was something.
Yep. Seen him at Tennessee, but never got to see him in the pros. But, man, he was a beast.
Oh, was he fun to watch.
Speaking of defensive ends, is Daryl Taylor, this is for me, I guess, does Daryl Taylor, if they don't sign Clowney, he's going to have to because they don't really have anybody else. They got Collier, they got Rasheem Green, they brought back Bruce Irvin, but honestly, Taylor had the most upside out of all those guys. Collier, I don't know why you draft somebody in the first round and don't ever play them. It seemed like they just didn't want to have him on the field. I mean, injuries may have had a bit to do with that, but same with Rasheem Green. Rasheem Green was not that late of a pick. I mean,
was it a third round?
He was like third round, and it's like I don't understand. Like,
I grabbed him in a few spots in rookie drafts that year.
Me and Darrell just drafted him in a league. I mean, Darrell loves him. He's from Tennessee,
right?
That's right.
I mean, yeah, you're looking at L.J. Collier, Bruce Irvin, Benson Mayowa, Alton Robinson, Daryl Taylor, Brandon Jackson. Now, Brandon Jackson's been on the team for a while and plays a lot of run defense. But I think on third downs, you're going to see Bruce Irvin on the field, and I would guess Taylor. Green maybe on base downs, Collier on base downs. Yeah,
I'm telling you, Daryl Taylor's going to be a beast for you guys.
I hope so.
Keep sleeping on him. He's going to be. I'm telling you.
Yep, he can ball.
Dan don't believe me, but he's gonna thank me later.
I've never said I don't believe you.
I'm just saying.
You're going to have to talk him into Daryl Taylor as much as I had to talk him into Jordan Brooks.
Well, Jordan Brooks. I just don't think you needed to take him in the first round. When there's tons of other players out there I'd rather take in the first round. You could have gotten him in the second round, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think you could have got him in the second as well.
But I don't know. Maybe the Patriots wanted him and they decided to take him. I don't know. What do y'all think of Fedi Odenigbo? I think if I see it, I can pronounce it better. Will do this year playing full time. He got 7 last year. I don't think double digits is out of the question.
Especially with Hunter on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, you're drawing.
Yeah.
Now, their defensive tackle situation has changed slightly, if I'm not mistaken.
They signed Michael Pierce, right?
They did sign Michael Pierce. Linval Joseph is now in Los Angeles.
Yep.
So it's changed a little. I don't know if it's gotten – Linval Joseph's getting up there in age, so I'm not sure if Pierce is that much of a downgrade. Yeah, Pierce, Shamar Stephan, who was with the Seahawks for a quick spell, Danielle Hunter, and Odenigbo. I think he'll double digits isn't out of the question.
Yeah, definitely like him to have a good season this year for sure. He showed that he could play last year. So, and what's up, bud, my man B Hartley? How you doing, bud?
Yeah, he's been pounding the chat here.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, we got about 15 minutes to wrap up. I don't want to say we're wrapping up right now, but I want to make sure everybody gets their their sites plugged and make sure if they want to share anything before we go, any IDP insights for the people, our guests, to give you an opportunity to share that stuff, where they can find your podcasts and all that stuff. And we'll start with Spaceman down at the bottom right here.
So you can find all my writings at DFF Dynasty or dynastyfootballfactory.com. And also, I only play in in 1 or 2 IDP leagues. So I'm not the IDP connoisseur of you that you guys are, but that being said, I rely on a simple strategy of just going with pressures, tackles, and as simple as that. So it was fun to hear you guys talk about that and learn a little bit more tonight, because I'm a really novice, and I was trying to keep my head above water all night listening to you guys talk here. So I tried to hide it. I tried to hide it as best I could. But thanks for having me on. But check out my pinned tweet at @FF_Spaceman for over 1,800 college prospects dating back to 2003 at wide receiver, quarterback, tight end, and running back for every stat you could want in college. So check out my pinned tweet. And most importantly, thank you to the entire fantasy community who stepped up for the SFB Podathon and donated. We're over $41,000 right now. It was just awesome to see everyone come together And also hats off to everybody who's in the Autism Speaks, the tournament that you guys mentioned. I've been working with kids with autism for the last 11 years, so that's something that's special to my heart. And
Sweet.
Knock it out of the park, guys. So hats off, and it was nice hanging out with all of you tonight. So thanks for having me on.
Awesome, man.
Awesome. Mike, you're up next.
Thanks for including me tonight. It was a lot of fun. But you can find my writings at 4for4.com. Follow me on Twitter at Mike_Woellert and the Mic'd Up IDP podcast, pretty much on every platform that you can imagine. And but yeah, thanks for having me on. Thanks for listening to the podcast and all of the reviews, all the ratings. Everybody that's just reached out to me and has given me good feedback. It's humbling and well appreciated. So I will continue to deliver the smooth IDP.
Zach says,
smooth
Mike,
gas is going to stick, man.
How much for you to sing me a lullaby today?
Oh,
That's great. That is so great. Yes.
PayPal
That might be the
Mike.Woellert
best
at
question of the
gmail.com.
night.
$5.
Oh, man.
Oh, that was so great.
The dingus disappear? Leroy Dingus.
Leroy Dingus. There you go. Oh, man.
Go do Kyle first. I got to yell at some kids.
All right. Kyle, go ahead.
Oh, yeah. You can find my stuff at idpguys.org. I am at kbell54 on Twitter. Always down to talk football. DMs are open. Love to talk football or whatever. Always available. Hit me up, man.
Yep. Dingus, you done yell at your 15 kids?
The job's never over. First off, for the inaugural episode here, shout out to Mike. He's one of the good guys out there. He's been doing this for a long time. He makes a lot of us look pretty stupid when it comes to IDP. You know what I mean? I fake it till I make it. That's my approach, Dave. I just yell and scream a bunch of stuff, and hopefully eventually something sticks. Yeah, going back to Dave's point about the SFB Podathon, there's a lot of people doing some good things there. Sal and Steve and Kevin and, of course, Scott and Bosch and stuff.
And Steve's chair.
Let's not sell Spaceman here short. He was doing a lot of things behind the scenes, and he will never say it because he's like me. He doesn't like to take credit for nothing. But he was doing a lot of things behind the scenes that nobody saw. I know he was hitting us up with the Dynasty Vipers. See a little bit of a shout out there.
Yep.
He was hitting us up with the Dynasty Vipers. He put together our sponsorship package there. What the guys were going to say. He was in contact with us the whole time. I know he was not just with us, but with every sponsor. I'm pretty sure, Dave, you had a big part of what they were doing too. So thank you for your part, even though you will not try and take credit for that. So thank you for that. Obviously, Leroy Dingus. You can find me at Rayshawn Jenkins or at Dingus4 at Dynasty Vipers. We got a bunch of stuff kind of going down, firing up again here. SFBX is kicking off. We've got the IDP inaugural. Basically the IDP Scott Fishbowl, so to speak, I guess is the best way to put it, right? That's kind of what we're trying to aim for, is raising awareness for autism, doing some good things there. Lots of money been raised already, and that's not even including, I think we're doing those eliminators too. Who the hell put me in a 60-round eliminator? Did you say 60?
Well, it's
man.
Offense and IDP. Come on. I mean, you got to plan for injuries, man. You got to have depth. It's best ball.
Just draft all the Raiders you can, Coach. Every Raider.
You know what? I will, because I guarantee they score more points than the Packers defense. So
it'll
be good.
Got a bet?
We'll go Kiwat over Kirksey. That's my homer pick there.
Wow, that's a bet.
Well, Hollywood, what do you got? As you chose.
You can follow me at Hollywood Titan on Twitter. You can follow me at King Titan 1 on Reddit. We're both in the IDP Facebook group. We do a lot of stuff there. Try to leave some for you, but me, you, and our buddy Eric for you hardcore IDP guys, we have the IDP or Davey IDP Grind Show podcast where we are going into the college IDP side. So we got that going on. Basically, we're everywhere. I think you do the Instagram or whatever. So, yeah, I mean, me and you are a little bit of everywhere. We're spread a little thin right now.
Yeah, we are almost up to like 3 nights a week, which Daryl's wish is coming true. He wants to be like this.
I told you long ago it was going to be the dream.
Yeah, well,
I told you.
This is our.
You didn't believe me. I said, "What did I tell you?" I said, "Get on the back. I'll carry you." Look here. Here we go. Here we go. We got Smooth Jazz down here in the middle. We got Dingus. Nobody likes Dingus. We got Kyle Bellefeuil giving him shit about Aaron Rodgers. Spaceman. He's the podathon guy. And I hate
Darrell hasn't learned how this works. He's pointing the opposite way. He's pointing to Kyle, but he's pointing that.
How about this? I'll just point this way. How's that work for you?
Oh, man. But yes, we are glad to bring you this on YouTube. It's our first episode. We hope that this
it may be our last.
It may be our last.
Pretty low for the rest of the group. We've set the bar pretty low here for the next guest. So you don't have too much to climb over.
So yeah,
I've seen our next guest in action, and we will not be talking any IDP probably for the whole show. We don't even know where this one's going to go.
That's true. Yeah. So some of these shows will be, a lot of information, and some of them will just be a lot of nonsense. So that's what we're hoping for. It doesn't have to be all straight IDP talk, but we'll let the chat kind of, what do you want to hear about? If you want to hear a certain topic, bring it up during the week. We'll hit it. And basically, somebody was stealing your table, Dingus, in the background. So, live.
Actually, we were stealing stuff. I sent the 13 kids out to ransack the neighborhood. We came back with a desk.
There you go.
That's how we roll.
Yeah.
Pack mentality here in the Donnelly household.
But you can find me at Seahawks Dan8 at IDP Nation and at IDP Nation Pod on Instagram. I don't post much on Instagram, to be honest. I tried to from my computer, and I don't think you're allowed to post things from your computer on Instagram. I don't know. Maybe I'm too stupid.
Sure you are. Sure
I don't know. I sat there looking for a plus button to add something for like 10 minutes. And I don't know. But anyway, we have some great people in the chat joining us this evening. Thanks to everybody. I know some people didn't hang around for all 2 hours. I know 2 hours is quite a while to sit here, but hopefully you're enjoying the IDP talk. We do have a few more minutes if somebody wants to throw some other questions up. We have till 11. They kick us out at around 11. But
yes, Josh Valentine. Make your pick in the SFBX already. Come on, man. Okay, go ahead.
I'll also say my favorite player I ever saw live for defense was Ty Law. I saw him play against Tennessee in October, I think it was 2003, and he had a bum ankle. It was a high ankle sprain, and he gutted it out. And shoot, Darrell, I actually forgot those.
Mute him, Dan. Mute him.
But he had a pick six on a bum ankle. It was a beautiful play. So that was my favorite defensive player moment.
It's even better.
Sorry, Darrell. That was not on purpose.
Dan is dead.
So we never got to
No. Dan's dead to me. Dingus is dead to me. And now Spaceman is dead to me. Let's just make it Oh, Jesus.
The most impressive IDP football player I've ever seen in person is probably Cam Wake. And that's when he was playing with the BC Lions in the Canadian Football League. Oh. This guy was a man amongst boys in the CFL. He was tearing people up. There was no doubt he was going to make an impression as soon as he went down in the NFL.
Right.
D'Angelo Hall played state championship in Virginia. He played every position but line.
Wow.
Well, I mean, come on, he was a athlete. You could, in high school, your best players play every down. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
But we suck.
Oh, well.
Man.
Oh, man. It's been fun, gentlemen. Thanks for coming on and being our guinea pigs for this. I think it went pretty successfully, if I don't say so myself. Thanks to everybody in the chat for coming by. And we'll be back each and every Friday night at 9 o'clock. Next week.
Love to have you guys on again. Just hit us up and we'll get you scheduled.
Yeah, man.
Hey.
Kyle. Me, Hollywood, and Dingus will be back next week. Kyle will be back in like 2 weeks, right? Something like that. Yeah.
Sure.
We got to figure out that schedule.
Yeah, just let me know. I'll see what we got. We'll figure it out.
I'm looking at my draft calendar here, and it looks like I got another draft that I'm in, but in a different division as Mike here coming up on August 1st, which should be pretty interesting.
Is that the Fantasy Frames one?
I think that's the Kings Classic. Is that not August?
Oh, Kings Classic. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not in the same division. We won't play each other, but yeah, that's that'll be in August.
And Dingus will be drafting his 60-round eliminator on September 1st. So.
Probably. I already got my 57, 58, and 59 pick already lined up.
There you go. We'll draft offensive linemen too, just for good measure.
We'll just call them Janorius, Rayshawn, and Malcolm.
Oh man.
Chris Collins, the whole Jenkins clan will be on Dingus's team.
Now let's not forget about John and Jordan.
John and Jordan.
Oh Jesus.
Nothing but Jenkins. That's got to be your team name.
Darrell and the Jenkins.
Darrell and the Jenkins boys.
I can't.
Sounds like a good Tennessee band.
That's it. Yeah.
No, it does not.
Nate must have been channeling Darrell with this logo because I see the Tennessee orange and then the Titan blue over here. So.
Oh, it's true.
Whoa.
Got orange over here and blue over here.
Let's not forget about the little logo in the corner with the big round head with the earmuffs. Darrell, turn your head just slightly.
And yell. Cheers to all. Have a great weekend. Yes, you have too.
Everyone as well.
Yeah, have a good weekend, my man.
Yes. It should be, well, we're dealing with Tropical Storm Florence or whoever is coming by. So we've had rain all day. But anyway.
I'm telling you, you guys all got to move up here. We get nothing. We got we had 36 cases.
Snow, yeah.
Huh?
Yeah, I'll take the snow. I love snow.
Oh yeah, we get our snow, but we've had 36 cases of corona here. That is it. 36.
That's it. I'm moving to Canada.
Yeah.
I've never seen a tornado in my many years here. We're too far off the coast from anything. All we do is get snow and heat. That is literally it here.
One last chat here. Study up your IDP, spaceman. The title belt hasn't left my home in years. And with that being said, we will say
Spaceman is taking it tonight. He really has.
Smooch. Good night. Bye-bye.
See you guys
later.
Thanks again.
Thanks, guys. Good night. Meet us next week, 9 o'clock. Same bat time, same bat channel. Writer Digest Network.
Yes, sir.
And we are out.
Peace. Tighten up.
Go Pack.